Hey guys, welcome back to the Cartoon History Channel. This is Saturday Afternoon Cartoon 129, Behind the Scenes of Animation 45. And this is the history of your favorite cartoon characters and the creative process. The creative process in the golden age of animation was different from studio to studio. Walt Disney had the complete creative rights of his content, but he made a lot of his famous characters himself. Mickey Mouse, Goofy, Donald, and Minnie. He had co-creators, but him and his company owned his core group of original short subject characters. Because when he branched out into movies, he had to buy the licensing of the ideas. But some of them were original ideas, and his original ideas were different because he was directly involved. Warner Brothers was different because the directors created the content, but Leon Schlesinger and Warner Brothers owned the content. So it was a bit different from studio to studio. Like from 1941 to 1953, when Tex was at MGM, he owned his characters, and it was his creative idea. But Fred Quimby and MGM, they had the control over the characters. Same thing with Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, and that kind of thing in modern times, from the 90s to now. In 1991, in modern animation in 91, they preached creative control. And it brought back some Tex Avery style comedy with Ren and Stimpy, Rugrats, and Rocco in All Real Monsters. It brought back that kind of control, but the company owned the art. And the creative tone from the creators came from the creators, but the company owned the art. Like for instance, in 1941, when Tex Avery left over a fight with Leon Schlesinger over his heckling hair short, his cartoons, because he basically from the late 30s to the early 40s started what it ended up being at that time the big starting up point brand for the Looney Tunes. Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig. He created all of those. Another thing that was individual back then that was created by famous directors, Bob McKimson or Robert McKimson created Foghorn Leghorn. Foghorn Leghorn, even without you seeing you know who the director is if you know pop culture history without even reading the opening titles. The Sam Sheepdog in Ralph Wolf, Wile E. Coyote in Roadrunner, that's Chuck Jones. There were 33 Yosemite Sam shorts created for Warner Brothers Looney Tunes and Leon Schlesinger by Frisch Freleng. If you know animation history, you know who directed. And the gags that were Frizz Cola in the Frizz Hotel, those were in Frisch Freleng. They were Easter egg gags in the Frisch Freleng. Creative and humor, but they were owned by the studio, even the jokes and everything. But that just goes beyond the cartoon part. Michael Maltese, the writer, and even Carl Starling, the musical composer. They did great music and writing and everything for the cartoons, but they were owned by the brand. That was different for certain brands, like I mentioned earlier. Walt Disney, his company operated different. The company owned everything, but it was under him and under the company man. Other companies that were competitor cartoon companies in the shorts division before they branched out into movies, like MGM, they would have labor do the work, and the company would own the art. Like Fred Quimby and his head people owned the Hanna-Barbera, just like Leon Schlesinger and Warner Brothers. the best thing to do in modern cartoons, and this isn't a plug for the website that I'm on, but it's just the truth, is to be a YouTube cartoonist. Because modern cartoons, TV is still where it's at, but modern cartoons are also switching over to YouTube. And as a cartoonist, and this is a big part in cartoon history, you want to find a YouTube-like platform, YouTube something, but YouTube is the best because you get to own your content in your famous cartoon. Let's just say you came out with a modern equivalent to the Looney Tunes of the day, or something funny like the old funny Mickey and the Beanstalk. You own the content in a modern sense, sensation in sense. YouTube, you have the freedom to put the content out there or take your video off, and you make all the money. I mean, you have to share it with the company, but if you have a monetized channel, you make a percentage of that, and if you have an affiliated marketing, you make a percentage of that, and a bulk of it goes to you. But it's made through your content in modern cartoon history because you own the content. That's it for today's video. Join me next Saturday for my big one, Saturday Afternoon RetroToon 1:30, behind the scenes of animation 46. And tell me in the comments what you want for the next video, and make sure to vote on the suggestion because I want to do what you want. And make sure also, if you like these videos and this channel, to hit the like and subscribe button and hit the notification bell button so you always know when I upload every Friday and Saturday, and hit the gray bell if you want to know every time I upload Friday and Saturday at 3. That way you'll always get the notification.